supposed to be. There we go. All right. Now we can start all over again.
And
Hopefully
everyone, is the secret to the universe.
And I'm glad that you joined us on that note, because we are in the cemetery where you actually may go to meet the other side and learn the secrets of the universe. My name is Scott, this is Lauren, and this is a Signal Network Live, and we're calling him Spirit Quest. Welcome to Columbus, Ohio, to a cemetery that I have to not name. I can't tell you where we are, but it is allegedly haunted. Miss Kay is joining us this evening.
Hi, everybody. I'm the producer and director, and we do have permission to be here. We just can't name the cemetery, just saying. And we're going to be here for about 2 hours this morning, picking up on some threads from Phantom Forensics chapters 1, 2, and 3. But if you haven't seen them yet, it's okay. Stay with us. And then later on, watch those on Signal Network and come back. We're doing this all weekend. I want you to see we have a small, really fabulous group of people working with us. Right behind this camera is Jeremy Hughes. He is an important partner in the Signal Network, and he also is today our director of photography. So you want to swing it around so they can say good morning to you and see your handsome face?
Hi, everybody.
He's a real person.
He exists.
And we've got Mikey here. He's on our camera that we're going to use this footage for when we edit it down for a more polished episode structure like chapters 1, 2, and 3. And Corey Hughes is here. He's our moderator. You may have encountered him if you've been lucky enough or smart enough to buy some of our swag packages. He's the one that sealed them with love, put those all together, and he's going to be in the comments. Part of what's really special about this live today is we really need your participation. So if things come up, put them in the comments. Corey's going to share them with us, and let's get started, right?
Yeah. So the only thing I knew about today is that we were going to come to a cemetery for this part of the shoot. We will be live again at 4 o'clock today, so keep that in mind, so set your alarms. No matter what YouTube tells you, today at 4 p.m., that's what time we're going live from another location, which I do not know anything about. So basically, there is something very important about the space that we're in. Behind us, there's this really beautiful old obelisk, and it's clearly some sort of family plot or some group of people that are buried together. And we are going to take a walk around it. I'm going to see if I get any impressions from any of these people. And if I do, I'll let you know what I feel. And then we're going to see if we can communicate with anybody that's here, whether it's from the folks that are right here in front of us or those that are around us. All right. So, Lauren, if you want to talk, I'm going to go ahead and do a little thing here. I'm going to step in.
Should
Thank
I
you.
tell the viewers why we're here while he's doing that? Sweet.
The biggest thing about this is that when we do any sort of research about a location or about a story, we keep it from Scott as much as humanly possible.
The cone of silence.
Absolutely. So that just means I don't talk to him at all.
Because it's very hard for you not to tell him everything.
About everything. But I am let in on some of the secrets and the stories because I also organize and develop experimentation or different techniques or modalities that we're going to be using when it comes to investigating or collecting any sort of data that might be able to back up some of the things that Scott's going to be talking about. So I'm excited to try some new and interesting things with you guys this weekend.
And you make equipment that people can use for their investigative.
I did bring one piece that's good to use outside that we'll be able to use a little bit later, hopefully, if Scott is able to start some communication stuff. So I really focus on atmospheric triggers, so fluctuations and different things happening around us that aren't supposed to be there.
Excellent. Should I tell the viewers why we're here?
Yeah, we got whisper.
Okay, so the whole idea of this Spirit Quest is when we were doing Phantom Forensics, the shoot here in February of this year, there were quite a lot of things that Scott came up with that I didn't know would track with the stories that we were connecting with, that eventually, sometimes after the shoot, ended up being key. Mm-hmm. And I was so excited to follow those investigative threads further, but a show like Phantom Forensics is really expensive to produce. So, and
As I laugh.
yeah, Jeremy though is not laughing at all about that because he's the guy that's got to make the payroll. So we came up with this idea that actually, sometimes when you've got a challenge, your solution is even better because you have to be creative. The superpower of the kind of investigative work we do is that it is live and it is participatory, and that people on the lives with us can give us feedback in immediate time.
Which is important.
Which is important. So today we're going through some of those threads that we started to uncover in Phantom Forensics, but that we either didn't have time to include in the 3 episodes we edited, or weren't clear as to why they were really connected, that there's a deeper story there. And shortly after the shoot ended, Scott was still telling me impressions he was getting. He doesn't know how they're connected. So today we're going to lay the groundwork. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., we're going to blow people's minds by connecting the dots. And Scott has no idea. And it was all I could do to wait these months until we had the synchronicity of you being here. It's really important for you with your cool science gear to back up what we're doing. And you're just such a great team with Scott. But what we're doing in this cemetery, or I can say this when Scott's on camera, because I'll tell him once he tells us why we're here, or what he's picking up. So, is anybody in? So while we're waiting for him to do his psychic sweep, because he doesn't know why we're here, and he doesn't read the tombstones, so he's not going to get teed off for that. But Corey, is anybody in the comments saying that they recognize where we are, or that they're picking up anything of where we are?
No. We're all saying that we love your green blouse.
I know, isn't she fabulous?
Okay, well, so what's really weird is there is a green theme. And thank you. I appreciate that. There is a green theme that we're going to explore later today.
Yes, because on the way
which
here.
I did not know about when I chose my wardrobe.
When did he journal that? Last night?
Last night.
Okay.
This is the weird thing about Scott. He'll call me up and he'll say, wait, before you talk, I just need to say, and let me say, I have produced science programming for decades. And right around COVID, I sort of ended up getting sucked into Roswell with the History Channel.
That's where
because they were doing a 6-hour program, and they swore to me, and I explained that I don't do paranormal investigation. And they explained, no, we're retesting the data. We have new evidence. I'm like, you have 6 hours of new evidence? They're like, yes, we do. And to their credit, they did. And we milked that sucker, and it was a #1 show. It was part of History's Greatest Mysteries. And we were working on that. And from there, I got pulled into something called a haunting. And I was doing that with my friend Laura Marini, who is such a talented showrunner. We've been connected for a long, long time. And she sent me out into the field for about 10 months, and we were doing various stories. And it was a reboot. People really loved the thriller aspect of it.
Oh, no, I liked that show.
And it was getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And Scott came on as a character in one episode about a haunted doll that he'd been involved in. And one day we'll tell you the longer story, but he shows up for the interview. I'd never met him. The associate producer had been doing the interviews. He sits down with me, and I start to tell him about what we're going to do for that day with the shoot and the interview. And he says, wait, I have to tell you, before we get to that, there's a woman behind you surrounded by fire. She's banging on my car hood. She's screaming, why won't she listen to me? I need her to listen to me. I'm like, I would if I could. I don't see her. But the weird thing is, it was tied to something that the crew and I came in contact with months before in a different location on a different episode that had nothing to do with Scott. We didn't tell anybody back at our base camp about it because it was just so wacky. He validated it right away. and we didn't know anything. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it again. And I grabbed him and I took him to the cameraman and the sound guy. And I'm like, wait, Scott, tell them what you just told me. And I'm like, guys, does this ring a... They're like, yes, that's what we were experiencing out in California months, different thing. And I'm like, okay, there's something going on. And then I start to interview him, and it's supposed to be past tense. And he's talking about some dog-faced monster. And he says, and he's here right now. He's over here on my left side, and he's screaming at me this thing. And I'm like, this is the best interview ever. And he was so good. I lobbied. Normally, the people that actually went through it aren't on camera very much. We do recrees. But Scott was so good, I got him on the show more often than he was allowed to be on, really, because of that. And then we went to another shoot somewhere else, and stuff started to happen. And I called him up. Hi, I don't know if you remember me a few months ago, but he's like, don't tell me anything. Just don't tell me anything. Send me a couple photographs of wherever it is that you're feeling this. And it was in the Airbnb where the crew was staying. It had nothing to do with the story. He calls back a few hours later, and he's like, on the money. Holy crap, I can't believe it. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm a science producer. I have no idea what's going on, but he's totally validating everything. There's no way he could know. I didn't even tell my crew. I was embarrassed. I was just like, you're not leaving me this house alone. We're going to pick up supplies at the Walmart. I'm going with you. They're like, okay. I'm like, I just want to go for a ride. So Scott is the real deal. He's the real deal. So Scott comes up with this stuff after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't even remember what he said, so we have to write it all down. And even what he said last night, he doesn't remember what he said last night, so we have to remind him.
He was giggling. He said lots of things about bags and cats.
That wasn't psychic,
that was not
though.
psychic. So he wrote a few things down in a journal about things over the next 2 days that we're going to talk about. And I did some research on the way over here, and there are very interesting things. And a lot of this will be, you can write down something. So we have this probability that you can write down something, and you can do cold reads, and you can typically find ways to make it associate with stuff. But when somebody comes up with multiple details, and then you can have these multiple details come up in one scenario, that usually becomes a little bit more on the objective side. And I'm using objectivity very loosely because we are talking about supernatural occurrences. But it is very specifically interesting. One thing that he had journaled about, multiple things that he was telling us, that, and I sent it to you, that lined up in many ways. So even though we could tell lots of stories about validating, when I'm a hard sell. I'm a very hard sell. But I think I'm excited to talk about now my sort of more experience with Scott and what he does. So, and I think that's going to be really cool to be able to have. We brought the journal with us.
We did.
That's
and
important.
If
I
you
want
would like
show...
to have your own Phantom Forensics journal and support our work,
one.
You can go to phantomforensics.com and choose all kinds of fabulous bundles. But it's only limited merchandise because it's what's left over from Phantom Forensics. Just an aside from the producer. Are you ready to talk to us, Scott?
Yeah, I was laughing about the pitch.
Okay.
Please go buy a blanket or a book, please.
But we only
'Cause
have
that
like
helps.
5 blankets left.
Yeah,
so
there's only like
go
5
ahead.
blankets
There are
left.
5, get one of them.
Yeah, because
Okay,
it helps
you
us make things like this
come next to
and produce more Phantom Forensics. We're gonna have a lot of fun doing those things. So while while you guys were over here chatting, I was
Yes.
in my own little world.
Mm-hmm.
I walked around here, and there's 2 spots in this particular plot that someone or something, an emotion grabbed my attention. So we
Tell
could
us
walk
about
over.
it. Yes.
Let's walk over there, and I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Yes, we can. We
And
can. We're just going to be
I
respectful.
asked permission. They said okay. It's no problem.
We're being respectful.
So I don't know. Obviously, there's quite a few people buried here. I don't know who I'm picking up on or why. There's at least 2 tragic passings in here. People who I think passed away before their time really should have been up. And one of them is in this area. Now, this is, folks, in light of certain things that have happened recently, I'm going to touch on this very gently. Somebody here was shot to death, and I think it was like they didn't know it was going to happen. And I walked over here and I felt like bullets kind of ripping through me, if that makes sense. And I don't really have an idea of who it was, but I felt the trauma really strong as I stood right here. And it felt like they were just like gunned down. And I don't know a better way to put that. I don't know what kind of plot it was or why it happened, but it's in this space, and that trauma really hit me pretty hard. So there's definitely something to say about somebody that's probably buried within about 15 feet of me from here. It may have been in some sort of, it feels like the person who's talking to me may have been dressed in some sort of uniform. I'm not seeing a suit on him, but it's dark clothing, and it feels as though we are engaged in generally peaceful day-to-day actions, but we wear some sort of uniform. I don't see a badge, so I don't know if it's I don't think it's any kind of law enforcement.
Are you picking up on a time period?
Probably like mid 1800s or so, 1850 to 1900, somewhere in there. I would surmise. And this person isn't talking to me, so this is just a trauma from their death, like just hitting me. And what I can pick up psychically is a picture. It happened out in public, from what I could see, maybe out on a street somewhere where there was a lot of people, and there seemed to be witnesses, but nobody saw anything at the same time, which is really also very interesting. Or if people did see it, they just didn't have the right details to solve maybe this murder or whatever happened. But that's what I'm picking up over here.
Okay.
Okay.
So you at home, make some notes about these details. We're going to come back to it. Tomorrow we've got a local published historian, Bucky, who is fantastic. He was not able to be with us this morning, but he's going to be with us tomorrow. So Lauren and I really want to stay present with Scott in this experience, so I'm not writing stuff down. But you please at home, go ahead and take notes of things that resonate with you, and then give them back to us through the comments. Corey's going to let us know. So when Bucky's here, he is a wealth of knowledge about all of these things. He can give us dates, times. He'll know where we are. So be on top of these details.
Okay, we're gonna go walk. There's somebody here, but we're gonna walk past him and go to the other side real quick. And I want to talk about this woman that's over here, and then we'll come back to this gentleman that's standing here. So I spent a lot of time here, and we'll get to this gentleman, but for over here, and I know this is hard to explain to people. In a psychic space, sometimes there's compartments that I find when we're in locations, and the compartments are kind of like little boxes of time that these spirits can exist in, is the best way for me to explain it. So although my physical location only changed 10 feet from where we just were, the physical compartment of time where the spirit is kind of existing changed. And how that works, I don't know. And I may not even be using the right terms, but as far as what I can explain to you with my vocabulary, it's to what I'm experiencing, that's it. Just imagine cubes of time, and they can all be different rooms and places and experiences that are happening. So over there was that gentleman, and I don't feel him just over here. And then here, there's a woman who is very sad. She is also somewhere probably between like the early 1800s forward somewhere. She is so sad, and I feel like her heart has been broken so many times. There's a lot of mourning. She almost, although seemingly I can see her dressed like really well, although she seemed to have had everything, it seems like she had nothing at all. And there's this terrible heartbreak that is just embedded with her, and she passed away with the heartbreak. And it's just present here. And I remember from Phantom Forensics, we talked a little bit about orphans and stuff like that, and I feel like there's a connection to that somehow. There's like this really strong child connection to her as we're standing here in this space. Whether they are both connected, I don't know, but I can say that this woman here has that feeling of longing for family, for this connection that just seemingly never really happened. And it's really sad and deep. And she passed with it.
Okay. Now, when you say you're picking up and feeling things, can you help our viewers understand what
Like what
you
that
mean?
sensation feels
Yeah,
like.
what does that mean? Are you feeling a density of awareness in your body? Are you feeling actual pain?
The pain that what I'm feeling is what probably most people experience when you go to a funeral, that feeling of sadness. But imagine you went to somebody's funeral that you loved and that feeling never left your body. That emotion never left you because every single day you were in such deep mourning for something that you just can't have, that it just sticks with you. And with that, there's a little bit of pressure that goes into my heart area. You know, in spiritual terms, we talk about that being the heart chakra, but I think most people would just recognize it as that pressure of grief, that sadness that just eventually wells up and comes out as tears. This woman lived in that state, almost never being able to get the tears out. Or if she did, it didn't help to deplete the sadness like it would for most of us, where we can mourn and get over it.
She was stuck.
She was just stuck in that spot. And whatever that is, I don't understand because I'm not, first off, I'm not a woman, so I don't feel the same emotion that she does. And I think and this is just me speaking, as a male, I feel like whatever grief I've had in my life, I've been able to compartmentalize and move from and recognize it.
Which is not healthy, everybody.
But I do heal from it. I'm okay. But everybody has their own way, and that's part of mine. So, but hers is just perpetual, and it's here, and it's stuck.
Also
and
not healthy.
Right. And clearly it's affected her through the years to the grave.
So are you feeling that this is a presence that is active in this moment, or do you think that you are seeing a replay of something or an echo of something? Or is this something that you feel like you can communicate with right now?
No, she's not communicable. She's in this compartment.
Like a grief cycle.
And the reason why I wanted to wait on this other person that I want to talk about is because I think he has something to do with it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. So just for a second, let's talk about a more science aspect of it, that emotions are frequencies. It's the physical feedback from your body.
Yep.
Lauren, you have things to say.
So rather than thinking of it as frequency, because we get sort of mixed in a lot of language, and frequency is something that we can actively read. But instead, emotion is, when we talk about spirits or energies, emotion is one of those energies. But what kind of energy is that? So
Right.
Emotions would be categorized in a chemical change in our brains, in our bodies. But that can have a lot of different responses in the outward world. So then rather, a frequency is something that we can typically read and have readings on. And emotion, we are able to document chemical changes or changes in brain wave brain function. So it's not unlike, I like to compare it to, and there's no real scientific backing to this point of it. This is something that I just think that with observation in human beings, we've all experienced this, that we could walk into we're like walking into a funeral home, but even bring it out more that, of course, you walk into a funeral home and you're going to feel some sort of way. But say you are walking into a family reunion and you know that maybe, your uncle's newly married or whatever, and you walk into this family reunion and it like hits you like a wall and you're like, whoa, there's tension. And when we have a vast amount of chemical changes also include things like burning your toast, and that's something that we can viscerally experience. So what if we have all of these chemical changes in human beings? How does that translate to the atmosphere around us? And do more intense chemical changes in the brain and in the body create these sort of ambient, visceral experiences that we might be able to experience later on? So it's not necessarily scientific, but it is almost like there's an adjacent to it. There's a parallel that we could compare it to that maybe we just don't have the understanding to explain at the moment.
So with that being said, is there a chance, and this is such a crazy question to ask, but hey.
I love crazy questions.
So with that being said, Is there a chance that somebody like me is picking up on literally bodies that have been in the ground for 200 years or so and feeling still the trauma from their physical being left over?
I don't think the chemical change stays in the body. That's like saying the smell of burnt toast stays with the toast,
Yeah.
but it can permeate the walls.
Right.
If you go
Like a residual.
But no, like physical, like if you go into a house where somebody has smoked for 50 years,
That's
you
what I'm
could wash
saying.
the walls.
A residual physical mark.
Yes.
Interesting.
And even or a good way too is like scent memory, where even just something that is familiar can trigger an emotion, a response. You and people like my husband, people that suffer from PTSD, something small, a noise, a smell, a color, like something crazy can trigger
Throw you
that
right back.
chemical reaction
Yep.
and throw you back into this place. And it's, I also like to compare people that might be more sensitive to those changes. Because again, it's not something that we have yet to be able to even document really scientifically. So it does take that sense of mysticism and that wonder, which that's why we're here. But I do compare it to people that can like pick up playing the piano right away,
Yeah.
and people that have to work at picking up the piano, because you said yourself that anybody could have their abilities. They could hone in on their abilities.
For sure.
Everyone can be psychic.
Yes.
But it's whether or not I can pick up on math really quick. It's what I'm studying. You know, it's
Everyone
something,
can get better, but some people
but you
have
can
a
exercise your
Right.
ability.
Yes.
Yes.
So we all have, that's why I always tell everybody, we all have a predisposition to be able to be psychic. It's a part of your human empathy. It's like that very basic ability to like see somebody that you know or don't know and be like, I feel like you're not okay. Or see them and not read their face and be like, what just happened? Yeah, like what just happened? Like
Or
what
walking
are the good
into
news?
a room
And walking in-
feeling the vibe in the room or
Right,
whatever.
So
How does this relate to being on the same wavelength? Like that state, that's saying.
Right,
oh,
so
we're
what
on the
I
same
was-
wavelength.
That's a great question. That's where I was going. That is it somehow that you are tuning into the same frequency or vibration as that emotion, and that's why you can pick up on it.
for you to know how I work is I came here, I meditated this morning when I got up. I only had a cup of coffee, so 1 cup of coffee. So I'm really clean. Like I have a very clean, even state. This morning I wasn't being my goofy self. I literally chilled.
Centered,
I
focused.
centered out. I chilled out. So that way when I got here, it's a clean palate. So I know when I woke up this morning, I don't have any aches and pains. I feel really good actually. Emotionally, I felt really good. I was excited to be here. And then when I started walking around, I sort of just said, okay, now it's time for anything that's out here to be able to influence me. And I started picking it up like a radio wave. And that's why each section that I step in, I am just tuning into that space and waiting for my physiological or mental state to change. And I recognize that so that I can talk about it. And then knowing enough about men and women and trauma and good stuff as well, because life is good as well, I'm able to pick up on those things and just tune into it a little bit sharper. And since I've done it so many times, I recognize a lot of the signs now. So I know when I'm like looking at clothes from a certain era, or I'm talking to somebody who's from a different time period, or they have something emotionally charged that they want to talk about. It's something that I'm used to dealing with people who speak emotionally charged about everything. So I'm very just used to being able to tune into those things and read between the lines to understand what
Like
they're trying to tell
scanning
me.
the radio almost, like you're the radio.
Yes,
And you're
exactly.
scanning the channels. Does this make sense to you guys as you're watching? Let us know, Corey. Tell us, are there any specific...
Are there any questions?
Yeah, specific
For sure.
questions,
Yeah, just yell those
or
out.
is it resonating?
And I will say, so the frequency talk with human beings being on the same frequency or hiring their frequency, a lot of that, I'm going to be the one to rip the Band-Aid off. A lot of that is some spiritual bypass, and a lot of that is just sort of like woo-woo, and it can be used against people. So human beings are all on the same frequency. And
I say this
usually-
all the time, yeah.
Usually
believe
frequency
that.
is pertaining to, if we want to science parallel it, the electromagnetic spectrum, human beings give off infrared radiation, and we all give off the same frequency within, very small margins. So you're not going to higher your frequency and be better than anybody else who's less spiritual. Now, what I loved about what you said, because it pertains to an active research that I'm doing, a public study that I'm doing at a location here in Ohio. And I will have to take you there sometime. I can say it too, because I do have release for that.
Great.
Perfect. At the Madison Seminary. If any of you are familiar with my work, you will be familiar with my installation, the Resonance Chamber at the Madison Seminary in Madison, Ohio. So it is a chamber that is a social experiment testing the idea that we can experience more activity or be more aware of activity after we have practiced a meditative.
It's literally what I do before every reading, before every ghost walk, before every investigation. I literally block physically.
That's why I love that you said that.
Physically and literally.
I was like smirking.
I block off the world. I put a blindfold on. I put on binaural tones, and
there is science to
and
that.
I lay down supine, and I just relax everything in my body and take a lot of deep breaths until I'm just not here anymore. So I chamber myself.
This is something that is very deeply related to our body's central nervous system and our fight or flight response. So human beings are survival creatures, and we have ways that our body will respond to stimuli when it comes to us being fearful, even happy, angry, all of these things. Our brain will respond in these instantaneous ways that sometimes we're not even aware of. So and this isn't just coming out of nowhere. This is years of study that I did. I was trained in meditation in Rishikesh, India. I have been to many historically spiritual sites around the world, just looking into this effect of different cultures using meditation as a healing modality, as a focus modality, as a way for people to connect with both things like their spiritual wellness, their deities, but also just their own bodies. And so being able to bring that into a location and allowing just the general public, from people that are paranormal investigators to people that we just call normies.
Normies.
Those normies. Normies love it.
I know, because
Psychics, though. It's like
Crack.
LSD. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
I sometimes have to drag psychics out of it. But it is very tailored. And so for you to state that that is how you connect, now that is something that we can back up by years and years and years of observation and study on human beings and our response to stimuli. So I love that you do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can practice at home too. And this is also a shameless plug, and I don't even care, because the meditation tracks that I use at the Madison Seminary are on laurenhans.com under work and research. You can actually test this out this weekend. You can do it before you watch our next live.
But not during the live, because we need you to be with
Don't
us.
go anywhere.
And not while you're buying the swag.
Would you like to move over to this other gentleman?
Shall I tell you why we're here first, or you want to?
Let me talk to you about this
Oh,
gentleman.
it's still here.
Oh, he's
Okay.
hanging out. He's
Okay.
not going anywhere.
So is he aware?
Oh, he's aware. We can come
So
over
I
here and
love
talk
that
to him.
this is a longer format. It's more like your lives, which viewers have really been responding to when you two do
Thanks,
the lives.
everybody.
Is this making sense to all of you? Corey, what are they saying?
Yeah,
Actually,
yell
I
out some
have a
questions.
question for Scotty.
Uh-oh.
Scotty, when someone from a different time period speaks to you psychically, are the dialects different, or is it from the current time period, or is it communicated in a completely different way since they're not speaking, corporeal?
Right.
That's a really good question.
So that is actually one of the
expertise
cues
in that.
that a good medium or psychic should be able to pick up on if they have good clairaudience. And it's one of the ways that I knew that I was speaking to this gentleman back here. Aside from his clothes, if I could just hear him, I would know that he's not from here, just because of the proper or more proper way that he was speaking, with none of the common terminology that I would use today. And it just helped me separate, not only could I separate the time, but I could tell that he thinks that he's better than everybody by the way he's talking. What he's told me so far, and what he's already said to me. So I want to come over here and talk about
let's
that.
do
That's
it.
it. So yeah, we can tell. Sometimes I've even been able to tune into the, because we don't always deal with people who are just, white Americans. I do readings for people all over the world. And I could tell you that I've done readings for people that have had family members that are from all over the world. And I could say like, hey, they have this really interesting accent. It sounds like it's Eastern European, and I can go from there. And I've honed in really close to countries that I've never even been to, just by, you know, probably watching a lot of movies or documentaries.
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 He can't say that word. I don't know why, but
One
he
of my-
always is looking
One
at
of
me
my
and he's-
ancient alien heroes, George Tsoukalos, says documentaries like that. And I started saying as a joke, and now I can't stop.
I mean, documentarian is
I know, but
a good word,
he doesn't
but-
speak English as his first language, I don't think so.
okay, but you do.
Okay, so yeah, so right here. It doesn't matter, I messed it up. Come on over. He's right here. So I'm gonna get back into this real quick. I'm gonna tell you what he's been saying. So I'm gonna describe him a little bit. Now, whether he actually belongs to anybody, again, I don't know. All I know is how he's presenting and what I'm gonna tell you. So this gentleman is probably about my height. He's probably got a little bit of a bigger stomach. He's wearing a black jacket and suit pants. He's got on a really nice tie for the time. It's like kind of like one of these like more wide ties that look more like modern day. You might go have a wedding and get married and have like a fancy tux, but this just seems to be about what this gentleman would wear every day. He's got a big bushy beard. He appears to be, as I see him, somewhere between 65 and 70 years old. He's not indicating to me how he passed, but there are some really important things about him, like he has gold, like a gold pocket watch, and he seems to be checking that often. One of the things that he said to me, which I thought was so funny, was that he wants a newspaper. He is showing me during his life, one of the most important things that this gentleman did every single day of his life was to open up a newspaper and to read. And in the way he said it was read about his city. So he seems like he feels like he has a lot of ownership to the space. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if either of you can answer this. Are we standing near anybody that might have owned this land?
Yes.
Okay, because he said that this was his cemetery. And then he asked me why people aren't paying him anymore to be here. And then he said, why aren't people coming in? He made me feel like there was some sort of ritual where people would come and throw money in these troughs, like as if they were a wishing well or something. And he kept putting money, and he said, why did that stop? Where is my money? So
That's a good question for Bucky tomorrow. I don't know the drill down details of it, but it certainly could track.
So I feel like this person was so important that he picked this spot in the cemetery to be where the family would be buried. He liked the view over the sunrise, and he said that he was upset because they keep putting things in front of it or letting the trees grow so it's not as bright and sunny as when he was laid to rest here. And he was not happy about that because he liked the big grand view, and that's why he picked this part of the cemetery. He also mentioned, and this is funny because I mentioned whooshing trains in our journal entry. Something that he was talking about was he likes to be able to hear the trains from here. It was like a thing that he wanted to be able to do.
So he's aware.
He's very aware. And what is interesting is, now I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's an evil guy, but I think that he has a very specific way that he did things and still does in the afterlife. And you guys don't know this, but I'll tell you all. There are many dead people that are standing around us, which I'm going to tell everybody. And anybody's watched me live at a cemetery, there's not usually a lot of dead people at cemeteries, believe it or not. It's onesies and twosies. There's quite a few of them here. And they are walking around having a normal day, except for the fact that I feel like they're not allowed to leave. And this gentleman seems to have something to do with that. He seems to want his payment before he's going to let anybody go. So when we came into the cemetery, down in that direction behind us where the sun came up, as we came in, I noticed that there were a lot of spirits that were, and I can't put this a different way, it's sad sounding, but they felt like they were in hell, like they were stuck, and it was dark and there was a lot of fire and they were not interested in being here anymore. And the further up this hill we came, the less of that I'm seeing. So it seems to be different levels happening here psychically for different reasons. And this person has a lot to do with that. And he is very adamant about his cemetery.
Interesting. Speaking of on fire, can we go to the shade over here because it is so super hot?
Do you feel like they are able to?
Good. I got closer so they can hear you.
Oh, okay. Interact at all, or do you think this is mostly just observation?
He can talk. He can say things. He can probably interact with gear if we wanted him to.
Okay.
Or if he felt obliged. If anybody has some coins, if we leave them for him,
That's
he might.
also what I was thinking.
He might do a little
coins?
something.
I do
Oh, you
a
have a question.
Question from Eileen. She wants to know if you're able to help them move on, or if you're just like a telephone in between them and us.
I am quite literally just the telephone. I don't move people on. That's up to them. If I get somewhere and it's like a really tumultuous situation and there's a family living somewhere and we have to get ghosts out, I'll do my best to talk with them, but I don't have spiritual power over anybody. I would bring people in who claim to have those abilities and who are more versed in doing those things. I literally just like to come and talk to everybody, keep the peace, spread the messages, and then if that helps the dead move on, that's what I do. If not, then we move on from there and go ahead. That was a good question,
Consent
Eileen.
is important.
Yeah, and I think so too. Nobody's going to come into my house and push me out.
Correct.
Maybe the bank, but not now.
It takes a while, so you're fine.
No, we're good. I'm in good financial standing. Don't worry. I know our fans care.
So is it all right if I tell you why we're here?
Okay, everybody, come on in. And yep, you can tell us why we're here.
So do you remember the main personality? It was actually a couple, but the man especially that you were picking up on at Phantom Forensics at the heart of the site. I'm not going to say exactly what was on that site because in case people haven't seen episodes 1, 2, and 3, you should.
Phantom Forensics.
It's a little bit of a thriller, so I don't want to say exactly what you found on that site. But
I do.
The site, the original site, do you remember who you picked up on so strongly?
Yeah.
What would you remember his name?
I'm going to guess I see a Neil name here everywhere.
William Neal,
Okay.
who was the patriarch of the Neal family, Neal
Right.
Avenue. And do you remember what business Mr. Neal was in?
He was in the railroad business, yeah? And horses, transportation, did a lot.
Exactly. So he started in taverns, moved to stagecoaches, and then bought the Xenia Railroad
Okay.
and was the railroad titan that brought the railroad down to downtown Columbus.
Okay.
And the railroad has to be run on time, and he was the guy that ran it.
Oh, and that's why he was swinging his pocket watch around.
I'm guessing, I don't like to
Why?
sort of strong arm things in, but it resonates.
But why would he make a point to show me a pocket watch unless it was important?
And
He could have showed me his shoes if those were important, but he made a point.
Exactly. And he was a mover and shaker in a very time-sensitive business.
Which is why the newspaper every morning would probably be very important to him.
And he would be in the newspaper.
Yes.
And he'd want to know what people were thinking. The other thing that you brought up,
Okay, did he have anything to do with the start of the dispatch? Do you know?
I don't think so. That was the Wolf family. I mean, they knew each other for sure. And the Wolves, by the way, are buried not far away. We're in a part of the cemetery. You can see there's a lot of wealth here. These are large family plots with lots of children. And in this particular part of the cemetery, the thing that struck me the first time I was here was walking around, I recognized so many street names. Sullivan, Wolf, Neal, McCoy is right there. And for people that are from Columbus or know Columbus, these are main thoroughfares. And you'll also remember William Neal owned the property from downtown all the way up to Ohio State and donated it to become Ohio State, donated it downtown to become these other institutions that we investigated. And therefore, there was a lot of property he owned. If I recall correctly, and viewers remind me to ask Bucky tomorrow, my understanding is this was just agricultural farms. And I don't know that it was a Neal family farm or whatever, but it was farm land, and it wasn't particularly valuable farmland because there's a lot of little rolling hills,
Yeah.
which makes for really bad farming but really beautiful cemeteries. And when the Pioneer Cemetery downtown, which is the earlier cemetery, was full very quickly, they moved quite a lot of bodies from there to this cemetery, and this
Okay.
was the place to be buried.
Interesting.
So where we're standing is the Neal family plot.
Right.
This is the center of the Neal family, and it was a wealthy family. A lot of the generations were movers and shakers, and there were some stories here. And I'm sorry, we missed Dalen this morning. He has a family obligation, and we know family comes first. It's one of his kids' celebration. But when we were talking about, not you, because you were in a cone of silence, but when I was thinking with the team about where do we want to start, of course, the cemetery is the perfect place to start for Dalen. And a story came up that I found particularly moving. And one of the things that you and I talk about a lot is it's really fun to do this work, but it's also important to give voices to people whose stories were not told or were not told accurately. I know, Lauren, you're pretty emotional about that too. And there's one story that came up that I wanted to share the details with you of. Were you picking up anything in that corner with the smaller obelisk, Lauren? I noticed you were looking at it too. It's a little out of place here within the family circle.
No, I didn't. Nothing really called out about that one.
Okay, let's go walk
But
over
wasn't
there.
that where the woman was standing?
Yeah, she's near there, but
Well,
I
the
don't.
woman though, sorry, thank
Okay,
you.
well,
So the woman,
Okay, on the fly.
the woman that you talked about who was connected to orphans,
Yeah.
William Neal's wife, Hannah, you were picking up on that in Phantom Forensics too.
Yeah, I got
She
that.
started the orphanage
Yeah,
in
and-
town.
And did they not have kids of their own?
They did have kids, but like many people in the early to mid 1800s, a significant portion of them died.
Yeah, maybe that's that sadness. There's just something about it that I just can't put my finger on, and I think as we keep going, we'll find out
Right.
what that really will
And
be
there may
from.
be other people here. I mean, when you look at the dates, many of it is pre-Civil War. A number of these generations probably lost a significant portion of their children.
Yeah.
But
All
over
right, show
here,
me the white obelisk. Let's talk about it.
so what I love about this one is William Neal was a slaveholder. And, he was a product of his time. Not everyone in the early 1800s, mid 1800s was a slaveholder, or as Lauren likes to call them, human traffickers.
That's what they were.
Not wrong.
He's not wrong. She's not wrong. But anyway, William Neal enslaved some people, and William's son Robert inherited a couple,
Okay.
husband and wife, that had worked for years as servants within the Neal family.
Okay.
And this is before the Civil War. So Ohio was a free state, but there was still there were lots of layers of laws to get around where people still could enslave people using indentured servants and all kinds of things that Bucky could tell you about. But the crux of it was this couple, this African-American couple, was enslaved by the Neal family, William Neal. When he died, his son Robert inherited this couple, and Robert emancipated the couple.
Oh, that's awesome.
And before the Civil War. And the couple stayed with the Neal family, working and living in their space. And Robert's an interesting person. He actually fought in the Battle of Indianola, which was, I think it was a Civil War battle. And Indianola Avenue is named after the mansion that Robert built in Columbus on that property that became Indianola. That people sometimes think it has to do with Native Americans. It doesn't. It's that Robert was deeply moved by being present and participating in that battle.
Okay.
And named his home there. And the home has a lot of interesting features that are believed to have been part of the Underground Railroad.
Oh, so he was
with Robert's blessing.
involved in it.
And
That's
over
amazing.
here is the obelisk for that couple that died before the Civil War, that was manumitted by, if that's the right term, I'm not sure, Bucky will correct me, but they were freed, released from slavery bondage by Robert, William's son, and Robert insisted that they be buried inside the Neal family plot with their own grave, Jurius Ambrose and his wife Catherine. Now, as you can imagine, the other wealthy families
Yep, probably didn't like that,
were
huh?
not happy. In fact, there were rules.
Sure is.
There were rules that African Americans were not able to be buried with markers, and certainly not in cemeteries at this time.
Or affluent ones at that.
Right. And it wasn't until the 1870s that the laws here were changed. And remember, we're north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
And this was still so ingrained in that culture. It wasn't until the 1877, something like that. Viewers, you can Google it now and tell me, correct me, but that was when actually sections of cemeteries could be set aside for African Americans. But before this, you can see this is much earlier. This is the 1850s, before the Civil War. And Robert said, I don't care, neighbors. They were family. They deserve to be buried in the Neal family plot.
That's great.
And I was very moved by that, because here's Robert, who grew up as a beneficiary of that slave labor from his father, who was a mover and shaker in Columbus, and yet Robert was able to evolve and still be wealthy and still had the presence of mind and the humanity to treat other human beings with some dignity. And
So,
I just love that it was here.
I will say this for our viewers, and for you guys as well. I'm actually really relieved that I didn't come across them, because it truly means that they're free.
Yeah.
They're not here. They didn't stay here. They don't feel an obligation to be here. There's no trauma that I personally picked up on. Now, that doesn't mean that if somebody that they identified better with, like maybe an African American or a black medium, were to come in here, they might want to speak with that person. I might just be kind of like the face of somebody that they don't want to talk to, and I don't take any offense to that at all. But what I can tell you is that I've never had somebody not talk to me because of that kind of racial barrier or something. They all seem to talk to me. Again, very open, zero judgment. That's how I am. And I just don't see or feel them here. So I think that they are gone and clear from here. And this gentleman that's hanging out over
good
here,
news.
he's not holding on to them either. So
That's
they're
good
clearly, in my opinion, not here. So
Which didn't mean he didn't have a hard life, because Jurius died at age 38.
yeah, so
And he wasn't a field slave where the life expectancy was like 10 years.
Yeah.
He lived in the house, which was a relatively safer, healthier place to be, but it's still, his life was short. Now, I don't know what was short about it, but he didn't live a long life.
could have been anything then.
It could have been
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're about halfway through with our time at the cemetery. There's
Yeah.
another important location.
Well, we wanna
Lauren, do you want to do work here before we go to the next
Oh, I wasn't
spot?
sure if we could get sound anomalies here. If you think that we might be able to get anything here.
We can grab my tablet and we can throw on the
I
like the
also brought-
necrometer or whatever, and see if he'll work with the voice box or whatever. And we could also do some EVP stuff, whatever you like.
Yeah.
We'll see, because I think that this gentleman over here has a good chance of talking with us.
Okay, so you want to do that before we move? What do you guys
may
think?
as
Do you
well.
want to go to the next location, or you want to finish with this one first? Are you interested in these stories here with the Neal family?
To our crew also, do you want to see?
You want to do some ghost
Stay
hunting?
here. Stay here.
Stay here?
Okay.
Okay.
So why don't you go get your gear?
Here's a good question for Mikey.
Oh,
With his Strange Road podcast, what would he see? You know, what's piquing your interest? This is the first time you're with this crew.
oh, that's a good.
By the way, Mikey has a podcast called The Strange Road on YouTube. Definitely go subscribe to that.
Yeah, go
It's
check it out.
fantastic. There's tons of episodes, and you should get on that and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I love local history. We
Mhm.
talk a lot about Ohio's ancient history.
Yep.
So the Neal family is
They're all over
so
it.
well known, and I helped Kay scout this
With the
location.
scout, right?
So I've been here before. This is our scouting trip was the first time I'd ever been to this cemetery.
Oh,
Surprisingly
wow.
enough.
Okay.
But I think the Neal family, whatever's happening, the connection. When you had said the pocket watch and the newspaper, I started to get
And the
chills
train.
all over. Yeah,
And
the
the train.
He when that
So-
train whistle blew while you guys were talking, he's like, I love to hear the sound of the train.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that's
okay,
awesome.
nobody ever says that. Must be important.
Yeah.
That most of us try to move as far away from the train station as we can get.
It was the first railroad, and he brought it to Columbus. He saw that the railroads were going to replace stagecoaches. So that's when he switched from the stagecoach with the taverns that you picked up on in our initial investigation and went to the railroads. And that really became a huge industry for Columbus because it continued to distribute goods throughout the entire region.
Right. All
through
right.
the railroad.
Let's go grab our stuff.
Okay,
Let's
grab
grab
your
some
stuff.
stuff and we'll do this. You
And
guys
I'm gonna
ready?
give you this.
What's up,
because you're
everybody?
gonna
Guess what?
be
We are filming our
mostly-
first Spirit Quest here live in Columbus, Ohio. Make sure if you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Any kind of support you give us really means a lot. If you missed Phantom Forensics, the first 3 episodes, don't worry, we're going to have more very soon. But in order to make those sorts of things happen, we really need you to visit the link down in the comments or down in the description, or just go to phantomforensics.com. We have patches, stickers, we have a blanket, we have books, we have all kinds of really cool Phantom Forensics gear that we need you guys to order. And it's really wonderful. We all have it. We'll show it to you guys soon if you haven't seen it, but phantomforensics.com, check it out. Those purchases helped make today happen all weekend, and they will help continue fuel what we're doing. But the biggest support we can have from all of you, honestly, is please hit the share button right now. Put it on your Facebook wall, put it in your Instagram story, go over on TikTok, talk about what we're doing, and spread the word. Let people know what we're up to, because as you can see, this isn't nighttime ghost hunting in the cemetery. We have facts. We have researched this, or at least they have. So we are doing something that most investigators don't. We're not just showing up here looking for ghosts. We have facts to back up the psychic work. We have facts to back up the equipment.
Laying a lot of groundwork.
We
and
are
that's important.
Because we want to validate.
So there's a lot of production
to
here.
Say you feel something,
All right, come on,
but
me and
then
you,
when
let her
feel
talk.
connected to a
Come on.
story, it's really great.
Why don't you hold this while I go over there?
Okay, so we've got about another hour and a half at this location. Then we're going to take a break for a few hours. And at 4 o'clock, we'll be at a different location connected deeply to our investigation from February. And we'll be there for about 3 hours from 4 to 7. Tomorrow, we're starting at about 10 o'clock also. We have a different location. And tomorrow, we're going to put all the pieces together. It's going to be a deeply emotional day. Scott has no idea. I wish I could tell you right now, but come back tomorrow, 10 a.m. We're going to be working all day till 4. And at 6 p.m. tomorrow, if you're in the Columbus area, we're going to do an eat and greet with Lauren and Scott. We'll tell you in the morning where it's going to be. We just don't want to say too far ahead of time because we don't want to overwhelm the location. But it'll be in the downtown area tomorrow at 6 p.m. Very casual. They'll probably run a live stream. Come meet them, talk to them, tell us your thoughts, tell us about your experiences. Say hi to them in person if you can at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So we'll see you soon for all of that. They're coming right back.
Yeah, while they're getting ready, why don't you guys, you and Mikey, have a little conversation here too?
Okay. So Mike, you're a professional cameraman,
Yes.
but you've got this side gig that caught our interest.
Yeah.
We're like, you have to do this with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I run a video production company, and we've been developing
Thank you for letting us step
live
over
stream
here.
systems for events, conferences, festivals, and that's actually how I met Jeremy. Jeremy and Elevate hired us to help him with some live streaming during COVID, and so I actually reached out to him like 2 months ago just to check in and sent him some links of our podcasts and all the stuff we've been doing
Amazing.
on the Strange Road, and he said, "You got to meet Kay, Scotty, the crew."
And the
Here we are.
podcast is you interviewing on paranormal subjects.
High strangeness, UFOs, cryptids, spirituality, indigenous wisdom, ancient civilization. We are very broad. It's just whatever I'm interested in, we talk about.
That's fantastic.
So
He's
we're
all in,
over the
guys.
place.
He's
We've
all in.
We've had a lot of paranormal investigators like James Willis right here in Worthington, Ohio. Weird Willis. He's been on the show.
Oh, I have some of his books.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ryan Singer.
I saw him speak.
Oh,
Um,
here you
know,
go. There's that. I'm getting out of the
regional
sun.
investigators. It's been really fun.
Is this
For both.
That's for
Okay.
both.
so? This and this are the same thing.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Because I want to do an experiment.
Cool.
We
Okay,
experimented.
I'm getting out of the sun so I don't
Have a sunstroke? Good
have
idea.
sunstroke. Are we able to all go over into that shade? Is that
I want to stay. He seems to be. He's not moving from here, so.
okay?
So because we're filming, I where's my line in? Oh, that's remote. Okay.
Live,
I'm
folks.
not
How you
gonna
doing? How y'all doing?
this.
Where are you from and how's the weather? That's what I always like to ask everybody while we're hanging out. We are in Ohio, though I'm not from here, and I'd say it's roughly about 80 degrees out here. Pretty nice.
Am I in the
Oh.
shot?
Yeah, you're good.
It's one of the warmer days we've had in a long time.
Listen, I'll take it. Better than being out here in 10-degree weather with snow on the ground. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Phantom Forensics was.
20-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, that was brutal.
So I know that you have your tablet that you want to work with, and I have an SB7.
Love me an SB7.
And I know that we think that I did get this from the ghosthunterstore.com, which is a sponsor of Lauren Hunt's. Thank you very much. And so I know that Estes method is something that's really, really popular, but I'm wondering if you want to do your tablet. I, just so the sound isn't getting congested, will put these headphones on. It won't matter that I can hear you or not, but I won't be able to hear you with these headphones on. But I'm wondering if we'll do almost like a half Estes, half tablet.
So why don't we actually, this is a good idea. So why don't we do like a proper Estes method? You run the headphones, I'll ask the questions, and we'll see what he has to say. And then when we're done, we can switch to this and see if they can manipulate this a little bit better
Maybe
than
some of the
that.
same questions?
Yeah, some of the same questions and see if we get some of the same answers or not at all. Who knows?
Well, just because two opposing sort of techniques that are also very similar, it's very cool to, if we want to do experimentation, we want things that are testable, repeatable. So when we're doing something like an Estes method or a spirit box section, it's so important to have some variables that stay the same. So I also want you to maybe even ask a couple of questions that we can ask multiple times, whether it is like where we are, what year it is, or like what color my shirt is,
Okay.
or even more so, you can do a password
Okay.
where you can state the password to the ghosts quietly.
Okay.
And we can see if we can pick up on that.
Okay.
Just for some validation, especially with it being something that we're filming and we're live, and these experiments are things that people can take out on their own adventures.
All right. That's it. We'll go over here and
Back of his shirt.
Oh, this old thing?
And what does it mean?
How do you know it works if you don't know how it works? Well, it's exactly what I actually just talked about.
That's
it's so
right.
important for us to build these variables and build these controls and these techniques to a way where they can be testable and repeatable. Ghost hunting's fun, and ghost hunting should be fun, and you can absolutely have fun. But if you are somebody who is interested in getting a little bit more objective in your explorations, there are ways that we can get a little more nerdy with it.
all right, come on in, everybody. Come on in. It's okay. It's all safe in here. Most likely. I don't know. What do I
Also,
know?
I'm not good at holding microphones, so I may have just like all over that microphone.
All right. So Lauren's going to set that up.
So
And
it's good that you're not going to do your tablet because I'm actually going to record this.
Yeah, so we
you'll
can
be
have
able to hear
Perfect.
the spirit box of what I'm hearing.
so if anybody's not familiar with the Estes method, basically this is something that if you've watched a paranormal show before, you've probably seen this. Lauren is going to put her headphones on. She's running a very basic AM/FM radio. The only difference is that radio does not stop on any radio station when it gets tuned. It just keeps going. And the idea is that spirits can hijack those radio waves and give us words that shouldn't be on the radio, so to speak. So I'm going to ask questions that she can't hear, and we're going to wait for her to just say whatever word she's going to say and see if it matches what I'm asking. And if we get good answers, that means that most likely, in my opinion, there's somebody talking with us. That's very basically the Estes method.
Starting radio now.
And Lauren, just put your hand up when you're ready. And we'll know. And we'll ask this gentleman to give us his name. as soon as we start. Doing good down there, Winter Soldier?
We're hanging out.
All right.
For sure.
I know.
Something's hot.
Can you tell us your name, please?
Somebody just said dad, and it sounded like a very echoey, small voice.
Okay. Dad, can you tell us what your first name is? You can tell us your first or last name.
$29.
Do you have a first or a last name so we can call you by that?
Hello?
Hello? I know you can probably hear us.
Hello? Like
Hi.
multiple voices.
Hi, how are you? Who are we speaking with?
That was bizarre.
Who are we talking with right now? This is one of the
You?
male Mr. Neils.
You, a wife and you, wife and the children.
Well, that's pretty spectacular. That's
I
crazy.
never do SD, so I'm always so freaked out.
Okay. So there's a dad, a wife, and children. Are you all present here?
I've had this before.
Are you
Help?
okay?
Don't like it.
We can probably help you. Can you tell me the first name of the person that we're communicating with? We can hear you through that device that she's running. And I can hear you if you want to talk.
I never meant to.
Okay. I know you're probably trying to say a lot, but please just try to answer the questions to help us, to help you. So what is the first name of the person we're talking to? Okay, if you don't want to tell me your
That
name.
same thing's happening yesterday where it's just white noise.
Okay, if you don't want to tell me your first name, can you tell me something about yourself?
This one.
Can you tell me something about yourself?
Something you. I didn't get that part. Nothing.
Can you tell me, are you here all of the time in the cemetery? I am specifically looking to talk with the gentleman that was right here. So if you can talk to her loudly, do that, because she can hear you. Just shout at her. She doesn't care. Just tell us your name or say something that we know it's you. Keeps asking for money. I'm gonna give the super secret password. I'll tell you guys. The super secret password, because he keeps asking for change, is gonna be wish. So if she says wish, we're in good luck. We're in good standing that somebody is saying something. All right, so that's our code word. And that's for the spirit to say nice and loud. So it's interesting that it seems to have gone quiet. It was very busy there at the very beginning when she started, and now it's gone kind of quiet. So maybe I've gotten too close to her. Something's throwing it off. I just gave a secret word out loud.
There's an old man. There's like nothing, and then like it's very visibly like conversation in radio stations, and then there will be like a weird like there's an old man sounded different than like radio station chatter.
What I like about what just happened is I said maybe I'm standing too close, and I moved back here, and she started to pick something up again. Why? I don't know. But it felt like the right thing to do. So I just gave a secret password. It's a very easy word. I am spelling it in my mind also, for spirit to just be able to see, hear, and feel. And if you guys can say that to her, that would be a home run, so that we know that you're here and present. That would be a big accomplishment and show how important and strong you are. Now, if the gentlemen don't want to talk, certainly any of the ladies or the children that are here, you have our full permission to come up and speak with us. Lauren is very open and she can hear you. All you have to do is speak out loud like you would speak to any other person while you were alive, just like I'm doing, and she will be able to hear you. I wonder if Lauren feels crowded at all.
I got he did not, and then he did some type of.
So right before she said that, I started talking. I said, I wonder if she feels crowded, because there's several spirits that are standing right out in front of her right now, which is really interesting to watch. Yep, getting the chills. They're amping up their energy. I feel you guys coming and getting nice and strong, so say what you need to say. Who did what? Is there a mystery that we need to solve to help you move on?
He won't.
He won't what?
That was a woman's voice. He won't.
Right, I invited the women and children to come and talk, and it seems like we're getting some more information.
Makes so many things. This is why I don't do SDs, because everything freaks me out.
So, what didn't he do? What happened?
My heart.
Right. Did he break your heart? Was there some other trauma? What happened? It's okay to tell us. We're safe.
I think we're done talking to him.
Once again, I moved back.
That was like 3 different voices. Like different, like we're done talking to him. That was bizarre.
Comments say to stick a coin or something on.
Yeah, I don't have any. I should have brought some.
I got a dollar bill. If that'll do it.
That would probably do it. I don't even have one of those.
As long as you don't keep it with you.
Yeah, you got to leave it. We'll reimburse you. So, who is done talking? Are you done talking to me, or are you done talking to?
Tell her. Not me.
Go ahead, tell her. Are you done talking to me? You can tell her.
This is just, okay, tell her, and then something use and abuse. Oh, I didn't like that.
Yeah. So that tracks with this guy holding on to people. Are you being forced to do things?
Family members?
Right here in the family plot. Are you being forced to do things here? Are you still carrying
I'm
out?
a scientist.
Are you being forced to like carry out tasks in the afterlife? You can tell us. We can find somebody to help you. Tell us. I'll back up again. There are several people outside the boundaries of the border here, and they seem to be fearful to step forward. You guys can come in. This is a safe space right now. Tell anything to Lauren, because we only have a couple more minutes and then we have to move to a different part of the cemetery, which you're free to follow us if you like. Seems like the energy's dying out pretty well. Okay.
I feel like it's coming, and then I never know.
It's you answered a lot of interesting questions.
Oh, did I really?
And you said some interesting things along the way that.
Sorry, I'm so animated when I do.
No,
I never
that's
do.
all right. That's
that method for this reason because it kind of freaks me out.
I like that you were like, I'm a scientist.
I was looking at her.
This
I
is
was like, this
the-
is why I don't do STs.
This is the opposite of what scientists do, isn't it? No, it's not. You're out in the field testing
That's
things.
why I like to. One, I feel like it helps me keep my foot in the mysticism because I can sometimes really analyze my way out of my research, and I have to really remember that I am in the mysticism and the supernatural, and
Yep.
I have my own spiritual beliefs as well too. So it's nice for me to do the things that I'll vehemently tell Kay I'm not going to do that, and then I'm like, hey, let's do that.
Let's do it. So for everybody watching at home,
Oh, I'm so excited to listen.
how
to
did you
this.
guys feel about that? And who do you think we were talking to? I know they didn't give us a first name. However, what was interesting was somebody said dad, and then woman and children, or something to that effect. So a family. You talked about that. There was, you said used and abused, and it felt like I said like there's people still here kind of in servitude somehow, or they're not allowed to leave, which kind of fits that.
Yeah.
But when I was asking for this gentleman to talk who's been here, he seemingly was like pretty quiet. He didn't give us anything. And then what happened was I took a really big step away from you, and I asked for you to, I told the spirit like, hey, I'm going to back up, and maybe that would give you more room to have them step in. And as I did that, I was talking about it, and all of a sudden you started talking again, which was really neat because you had no idea where I was standing really. And then
There would be full sweeps because I kept an eye on the numbers that it was cycling through. So there would be full sweeps where it was like nothing, like no noise.
With that, I was telling them, the audience and our crew, like as you were sitting here, I was watching people circle up around you. Did you feel at all like any claustrophobic, or did you feel any change in your own physical presence as you're sitting here?
So it's tough for me to even register where there's a few times where I had to like close my eyes because it was just very it oversaturates my sensories obviously. So
Right.
but I didn't register any sense of like claustrophobia. But
Okay.
I sometimes don't
Okay.
unless it's a ton of people.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was just
But
a
I
couple.
don't think that I didn't feel unsafe, and sometimes
Okay.
if I'm doing SDs,
It wasn't
I won't
unsafe.
close my eyes.
That's for sure. It was a
So-
very safe. They were like
Yeah.
a woman and two children is basically what it
Oh,
looked
okay.
like. And they were also in like 1800s clothes. They were gray and just kind of like they weren't important, wealthy people. And I was
everybody's important.
And I was trying to give them a space because this
Yeah.
might be still a piece of property where like, oh, we don't go near the Neal family because they're not
Yeah.
different class, right? So I was telling him it's okay to come over here and talk, and it sort of was opening that space. But then all of a sudden it was just like, nope. we're not going to do that.
Yeah, I
And it
did
was-
hear that we're done talking to
Yes.
him, or
Yeah.
one of the, whatever that
Which
phrase
was, yeah, we're done talking to
Well,
him.
that was
Yeah.
interesting because that was it was all pieced together, so it was very sentence formation, but you could tell it was clips from different, like, it was. Of course, we're in an open sky area, so of course we're going to hear a lot of chatter on radio stations. That's no matter what. And a lot of times I'll even use AM, but I also know that in more centralized city locations, you will still get just as much chatter on AM as well, too. So when I was sweeping, though, I was trying to only pick up on the things that very blatantly felt out of place, because you get that sort of cadence of, like, the stations that are coming through and the
Right.
voices that you're hearing. So I always listen for, like, the overlay or the piece together multiple voice phrases,
Yep.
and that we're done talking to him.
That's crazy.
That was really bizarre.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
A full sentence across 3 radio stations.
That was
should
very
never
applicable
have
to,
this
like, what we were
happen.
doing.
Yeah.
And that's either a very, very profound coincidence, which, you know, of course, that's what we always have to chalk it up to. But it was a cool coincidence. That will be something that is, I'll tell stories about it.
Excellent. Because that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So Miss K is over there. She's got her producer
She's got her
papers
papers.
out. And she's going to lead us on to the next spot. We're not going to cut. We're going to still be live. Just make sure before Kay starts talking that she has a
Any
a
questions
mic.
or anything?
Yeah, any kinds of questions or anything like that we can do.
That was pretty cool. Thank you for being brave and doing it.
And thanks
even
for
though,
sitting there while I was, like, talking to you.
Even though you didn't want to do it. Okay, we're gonna just walk back down the hill quickly. He'll follow us.
Yeah,
Don't forget to
that
take your
happens
bags, 'cause
pretty
we're not
often.
gonna come
And
back
we'll hit
up
on that. We'll
this
talk
way.
about those things.
Now, were you recording, Lauren, what was coming into the headphones too?
No,
So-
because I don't have the right jack for that. But
Oh.
this, I'm hoping.
All right, come on, guys. We're going to go to another part of the cemetery. Isn't that fun? Lauren giggles as much as I do when we're doing stuff that's scary. And something you need to know about Miss K is she gets real upset when we're doing scary stuff. And she's like,
don't forget
stop
your
laughing. It's not funny. But some of us, that's just how we handle scary stuff. I giggle.
also think it's interesting. Did you just notice that the Davis family is right across from the Neals?
Which, obviously.
Over here. Right, which is your family name.
But we have nothing to do with them as far as I know.
Correct. Unless you do. and you-
Unless I
we
do.
haven't figured it out yet, and that's the next spirit quest.
Dun, dun, dun.
So,
So we're going back down the hill for a second, back to that Sells family monument.
okay. So I know everybody can still hear me, which is really nice. As we go down, just remember, if you're going to do any investigating in cemeteries, be very respectful. If you can, obtain permission to do it. Most cemeteries do not get upset if you're there and you're filming something. They don't get mad. Don't do it at night, because that's when it gets suspicious what you're actually up to. And again, if you can just ask a groundskeeper, they'll probably just say, I don't care, just don't fall in any holes. And also don't fall in any graves that are closed and rotted through. Did I ever tell you guys that story?
No, tell us while we're walking.
I went to this really old cemetery. Watch where you're going, Jeremy. And I was there with this gentleman who was showing me, and it was a very cool old cemetery in New Jersey. And as we were walking over some graves, he goes, you see that open hole? And I was like, yeah, the one next to the headstone. He goes, yeah, don't step there or near it, because last week we were here and my buddy fell through into that hole. He's the reason it's there. So the coffin had rotted. There was no cement casing. The ground washed away, and it was all like grown over. So this guy was literally walking, and it was broad daylight when it happened.
That is nasty.
And he just stepped into it and fell right into somebody's open grave.
That is very
He's
nasty.
dead now. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. He might be. Shout out to Toddy B. When you watch this, buddy, I got my backpack. Thank you. Appreciate you. Toddy B is one of the best. He's a local Ohioan. Ohioan. How do you guys call yourselves?
Ohioan.
Ohioan. I was right.
Or a Buckeye.
Yeah, I haven't seen one Buckeye since I've been here. You know that? The way you guys chant about about them. You'd think they'd be everywhere.
You mean an actual nut?
Yeah. I mean, I'm working with a couple nuts, but that's fine. All right, so here we are.
Let's just wait for Lauren for a second.
All right.
So, Jeremy, while you can, get some nice shots. This is in a sea of expensive, fancy monuments, this one stands out.
It is beautiful.
It is beautiful. Is she coming?
Yep.
She's always late. It's driving me nuts.
I have your little lapel mic.
Oh, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I brought it over. Sorry.
Okay.
So while he's doing that,
So what I wanted to show you is, oh, we lost Mike. Well, we'll do it anyway. It's
we can
fine.
do it. We got Jeremy.
We got
Ace
Jeremy.
cameraman.
So the Sells family was very well known. You may not know this, but you will in a minute. In the late 1800s, Columbus was the home of the second largest circus in the country. It was later bought by Bailey,
Okay.
which became
Barnum
Bailey,
Bailey.
Barnum and
Barnum
Bailey.
Bailey.
Yep.
Right. And it was a traveling railroad circus, and it was started by 4 brothers. One of them was named Peter, but the Sells family was quite wealthy, and they were based here in Columbus. Now, when I said that about the family circus, as we were
Yeah.
walking up towards the Neals this morning, Scott, you had some response. Tell me what you were thinking.
So I didn't know, like, look, the cemetery's full of people from everywhere and every kind of walk of life, right? It doesn't matter. No matter who you are, this is where you end up. So as we were walking past this monument, knowing nothing about it, I don't know the Sells last name, there was literally somebody psychically talking to me, and they were trying to entertain me. They were like trying to sing and dance, and I was like, well, you're an entertaining fellow. And I was saying to Lauren, like, not all cemeteries are full of people. It's very rare usually that I run across folks that are out and about as spirits in the cemetery. And then Kay just stopped and like gave us this tidbit about this being a circus family, which is odd enough about that story I was just telling about the cemetery where the guy fell through the open grave. I cannot remember the guy's name. You guys can look this up. The first American clown is buried in that cemetery in New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I didn't know that until I did some research, because we had like a little interaction.
Become the first clown.
Yeah.
You have another connection to a circus theme. I don't know if we're allowed to say that on camera yet.
I do have another circus theme. We will talk about that. That's something I'll bring everybody up to speed with, because there's a big project that has been sitting in the back burner for a long time. And I think the Signal Network is going to have the strength to push that story out and give the whole thing
That's a paranormal true crime.
a paranormal true crime spotlight that it deserves, especially for the young lady and her family that it involves. Some of you kind of know pieces of that story. Some of you don't. It's something I kind of talked about a little bit, but I keep quiet for now until we're ready to bring the whole thing through. So while we're out here, we're going to hang out here at the Sells, and we're going to see if the Sells brothers or anybody that's buried nearby wants to do any entertaining for us. So maybe we can once again ask for them to come through. We'll set up some equipment, and being that they were a circus family, they might be more likely to perform for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, I actually just...
Or do you have some other place you want to go?
I have a different place to go.
Okay.
But I just thought it was interesting. And for people who know Columbus, there's a home called the Circus House down on Goodale Park that was built by one of the 4 brothers of the Sells Brothers Circus. And it was built to look like a big top.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's fun.
It is fun. It's been a black hole of costs for the people that live there, but it's a pretty cool house called the Circus House for anybody that is curious. Guys, are you okay to move, or do you need more? Okay.
Okay, cool.
So, Mikey, would you help me for a minute, because I'm geographically challenged?
Yep.
We want to go to that.
Me too.
The obelisk.
Hi, everybody.
Do you remember which way that is?
Yes, I do. It's straight ahead.
Oh,
wait,
thank
okay, hold on.
goodness.
We got to get our gear.
Yeah, I just wanted to stop here because it was such a fun circus family.
We love circuses. I used to
We're-
belong to one.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Are y'all having fun with us this morning? It's
I
a
hope
beautiful
so.
day in Columbus. We submitted for the good weather permits and they were approved in time. Thank you, John Dougherty.
Did you take
Film
your mic?
Commissioner
You did, right?
I
of
did.
Columbus.
All right, let's roll, baby. Let's go. Signal Network on the move.
Don't forget that rig that's sitting there, though.
There's a rig. Can I have the keys? I forgot the one piece of equipment that I was going to bring out that is actually pretty good to use outside
Okay.
because it doesn't have a lot
Well,
of...
then I'll entertain everybody with
Just make sure
more
to lock it
stories.
when you're done.
We'll regale you. So it's really fun that we're doing this. Again, don't forget, if you're watching this right now live, thank you. If you're watching the replay, thank you. No matter what, there's going to be 3 more lives that are going to be just similar to this one in different locations. So we're just starting off here in the cemetery, and then today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be live from another location. Again, I don't know anything about it. I'm hopefully going to have some more psychic insight to that between now and then. And
Totally
then,
different vibe, super
Okay.
fun, and connected to our Phantom Forensics chapters 1, 2, and 3 pretty directly. I'm not giving anything away because the minute we get there, you'll understand.
okay, so this is going to be a lot of fun. We
That's from
enjoy
4
having
to
you
7
here
tonight.
from 4 to 7. Yeah, so we're going to do a 3-hour. So you guys better have your popcorn, and maybe at 4 o'clock's not too early for beverages, right? For adults.
Definitely not.
If you're home and you're chilling, there's nothing else going on, 4 to 7, hang out with us, eat some popcorn, drink some adult beverages, have a good time.
And tomorrow it's going to be a pretty emotional day. We're starting at about 10:15, and we're putting it all together, the pieces that we've started to do today. We'll have Bucky with us, who's the historian. And not strangely, it keeps catching my eye. Estep is the name of that family over there.
Oh, like our buddy Richard
Richard.
Estep.
Like Richard.
It's wonderful.
It just seems
A
like an
wonderful author.
unusual name to me, and every time I pass it, I think about, I wonder if that's him. He's a historian also, right? Has he
He's
written
an author.
books?
Yeah, tons of them.
Right, right. So I think, well, maybe that's somehow he's connected to Columbus.
Maybe.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and
Let's go.
Come with us, please, to our second location. We're going to be doing this for about maybe a little under an hour, and then we'll break for lunch. You can eat too. Take us there, Mikey, on the strange road that
The
we
strange
are
road
traveling.
forward.
All right,
Let's go.
On the strange road, we
there are quite a lot
traveled down,
of
we passed
cells.
some Bigfoots and aliens and maybe some ghosts on the strange road. We traveled down, Mikey's our leader. He makes sure we don't step in deer poo or Bigfoot scat. He knows where the haunted spots are at. Down the strange road.
Okay, thank you for that.
Welcome.
You'll notice on the right there are more Sells family obelisks. But we have one in particular in mind.
It's so strange. Everybody that this is so wild. Everybody who's kind of on fire is over there to the right, which is so strange.
Their bodies are on fire?
Like they're on fire, like in hell. It's so strange.
Oh, okay. Are they
Oh,
fully visible?
well, we
in the
stepped through.
fire, or are they burning?
Ooh, we stepped through something. I feel a change just stepping through there. That was so weird. Okay. As for them, I don't
so
know.
good. Mikey, the man with the inner compass. I would have spent 14 years looking for that again.
It's a very specific number, Kay.
Unfortunately, it is in the sunshine.
Kay doesn't know how hard it is to film in the dark, Ghost Night. Okay.
Okay. Don't read it.
Okay.
Actually, it's okay if you do because yeah, you can read it because it has nothing to do with the one that we care about is on this side. So this is a family obelisk, also the Sells family. And if you want to show the viewers, the one we care about is on this side. So I'm not going to tell you about this person's story. Why don't you see what you can pick up? And Lauren, I'm going to give you the mic so that you can do your thing. There are a number of family members here all around, similarly to the Neal family, but it's that one that we care about, the one that you're on.
All right, as always, I'm just going to tell you what's coming through.
That's what we want.
This is a strange, to say this is strange all the time kind of takes away from it, but every time I close my eyes and I tune in and I see something that is not a part of my imagination or things that I don't think about, it is very foreign to me. Something that's happening is I feel like there's a butcher or somebody who was a butcher that is nearby. I'm watching a lot of meat being chopped up, and it seems to be important, as it's the first thing that they're bringing to my attention. There's somebody who's in a bit of despair that's over here, is a male. It might be the same person who's the butcher, or doing, like, maybe they didn't do it as a living, but there's like this thing about like feeding people. And he's like, I kept trying to make the right decisions, and it feels like he keeps giving to everybody and get nothing back. And it feels as though there was a lot of life where I just feel like I'm giving, and I'm not catching a break, and I have what others don't, and they're always coming to me. So I do my best to give, and I feel as though like I kind of was left with nothing at the end. I feel very sad, unfulfilled, for all the goodwill that was put out, nothing was given back to me, and that's sort of like an empty feeling to have, for me, sort of communicating with who's ever standing here.
Is this a scene that's playing out? Like, do you see
This is like it's such an interesting thing. It's like a lifetime montage of things that are just being laid out for me. And the feeling of giving and giving, I know a lot of people can relate to this. You've done something really good for other people, and somebody just doesn't even come back and give you a pat on the back and be like, thanks for doing that. Because it was sort of like, you're the person they expect to do that anyway, so why should we say thank you? And I know a lot of people can relate to that.
Can you describe this person a little more? Like, visually?
To the person who is talking to me and showing me these things, if you are capable and able and willing, would you please step forward and just kind of give me an idea of what you look like, or how you would have dressed, anything about you, facial features? So this gentleman seems younger than I would have expect. Now, sometimes spirits can grow to, we grow to be an old age, and we want to be seen as younger. So he's presenting as a younger man. I would say probably in his mid 30s. He has what I would probably call like an age appropriate facial hairstyle, where it's like a beard that comes down and up and over into a mustache. And I don't see like a lot going down here in the chin area.
Okay.
He's got a small like kind of top hat on. Also dressed pretty well, although his clothes don't quite seem to fit like somebody like, say, the other family that we were just with. And I could see that his clothes were very like well tailored for him. This person seems to want to have those things, but just doesn't. Like, his pants are very tight for some reason. His jacket is very tight and ill-fitting, and it seems like he's trying to fit into places where he doesn't quite belong, and he feels like he's always trying to be a part of like this upper crust that he just can't quite attain for some reason, or he's looked down on or not appreciated, like I said, like he should be, for all the hard work and the good things that he's done. So like I said, he's a white male, looks like brown hair, dark eyes. And although his clothes are ill-fitting, I'm looking at him, I'm like, you're in pretty good shape though. He's pretty thin, but his clothes just don't, there's something about that that's so strange, that his clothes aren't fitting well. And when I'm looking at him, he's actually pretty dirty as well. So like, his clothes are not only ill-fitting, but they're a little bit disheveled. So is this somebody that was working in his business clothes all of the time and trying to build something, and that's part of what he's talking about, giving and getting nothing back. And also, this might be him or somebody that's with him, but the same sort of energy, and I'm feeling as though I suffered like a major limb loss. Like I feel like something is amputated from my body. It could be an arm. That's the spot that I'm going to, but many times I'll just feel the idea of an amputation, and it could be anywhere. But for me, I feel like there's some sort of, it's either a complete loss of the arm or a complete loss of use or something. Mm-hmm. It's really important to mention that. And talking about never being able to rise to the expectations that were put out for him. Now he's like, you wouldn't understand.
Okay.
So he's sort of like interacting with me. And I feel like he knows that he kind of has like the spotlight to chat.
Okay. Do you think he would be able to communicate in other ways, not just through you?
Well, he says to you, I can give it a try.
Oh, thanks, bud.
He said something funny. Did you put on, I see your socks. Did you put on like mismatched socks recently? He said something really funny about you not wearing the same socks, about them being different. I don't know why he'd bring something like that up. But like a pair of polka dot socks and striped socks or something.
I wish I had polka dot straps.
No, you have regular socks on. He made some sort of reference to that, and I was like,
socks.
oh, I don't know.
Mm-mm.
All right. Okay, well, that's what I got from whoever this
I wonder
fella
if that's
is.
like a slang.
It could be.
I'm kind of weird looking.
You are. For them, anyway.
I do give polka dot socks energy.
You do.
So do you want to do some other kind of investigative thing before I tell you the story of this man?
That's what I was wondering, if we could get some like this plain interaction.
Yeah.
I know that you have something on your tablet that you want to play with as well, but then I also have a trigger device that I like to use outside because this does not have any false positives. This is only triggered by negative charge static, which shouldn't be prevalent in outdoor areas, especially when it's warmer and especially when it is a little bit more moist in the...
Yeah, let's set this up.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a seer.
The whole thing with this is negative charge static is interesting when it comes to different paranormal theories of how spirits may come through into a way that we are able to interact with them in our sort of 3-4 dimensional landscape. So it's just an interesting thing that I like to pull out, especially if we are in areas where we're outside, because this should not go off. And the nice thing about this is that it does not have false positives like radios or like our live streaming will not set it off. It's not an EMF device. It's purely only kinetic charge, electron imbalance, negative charge static. So,
and for those who don't know, EMFs are
electromagnetic field.
And it sounds spooky.
And you make those.
I do make these, and I want to say I just put a couple up on my website. So
they're gone now. It's been 2 seconds.
But yeah, this is this year, so we're gonna use it. It will go off with negative charge static, so something that should not be out here. I will put it in the grass. It should be totally fine in the grass. Where are you? Does this person
It doesn't matter. He's just wondering.
Hey.
So we're focused on a particular person. If we're just sort of mentally saying, please come talk to us.
Yeah, so there's also somebody who stepped forward that feels different, that passed away from either somebody poisoned them or they were really sick, and I feel like they got poisoned, but they're throwing up a lot of black vial stuff, which I see a lot when people get poisoned.
Question for Lauren. Can you please explain what negative charge static is?
Yeah.
Briefly.
Oh.
Got time constraints.
He said
briefly.
So negative, very simple. Negative charge static is when friction occurs and there is an imbalance of electrons. So imagine you have socks on and you're rubbing your socks across the carpet and then you touch your friend and it goes, zzz. You were negatively charged and then you discharged that. So it only occurs when there is movement or friction, which is why it's one of my favorite pieces, because your cell phone, your two-way radios, ambient radio waves in the air, do not set it off. It has to be something that is within its general vicinity setting it off. Yeah. I have lots of content on that, so we can go in depth on that. You can find me lots of videos.
By the way, Lauren, tell us very quickly, every Tuesday night, you are premiering very short new content every Tuesday night, not to put words in your mouth, but isn't it true, Lauren, that every Tuesday night with a live at 8:30 with Scott, and then at 9 o'clock the content drops. It's about 10-15 minutes where you go in and do a deep dive in some kind of cool gear. This past week,
And
it
it's
was the
gonna get longer.
chronovisor, which was fascinating. You all should go back to the site and look at her playlist, Lauren Hauntz. Not to put words in your mouth.
No, that's
but
okay.
Isn't that true, Lauren?
No, that's absolute false. No, I'm just kidding. We do have 2 episodes on Signal Network right now. Sorry, I'm a fidgeter. We have 2 episodes right now of Lauren Hauntz, but if it's something that you have, especially technical questions like that, there's going to be so many more episodes coming out about things I'm talking, we're going down the rabbit hole. Static, energy, string theory, but then also like ghosts and ghouls and mysticism and all of the things. So, okay.
Does that answer your question?
That was me.
That was
me.
you, right? Yeah.
Did you see how that just went off because she walked by it? That's an example.
Because I had just got done showing them how to generate negative charge static.
So you were full of.
I had some static. Our bodies naturally have static in them. So if we were to come up on this and we were to touch it, yes. But as long as Scott and I are staying very still, or maybe even taking a step back from it, there is no reason that it should set off out here. Wind, vibration, nothing.
Okay, so when you're ready, go ahead and do your thing and talk us through it as much as you can.
All right. So for the gentleman that I was talking to, we just put a box down on the ground. This box in no way, shape, or form can hurt you. As a matter of fact, it's a way for us to communicate with you. I know that probably from the time you were in, there wasn't much in science that you could relate to, but we've made a lot of advances since you passed away. This is very simple, and it's something that you definitely as a human experienced. It's static electricity, the thing that made your hair stand up when you're putting your hat on, you know? So if you understand how to use that type of energy in your current form, static electricity, all you need to do is to get close to that brown box down there, and it should, in theory, let us know that you're there. And you can answer questions just by getting close to it and static charging the box.
I will say mid-19th century static absolutely is a phenomena, a thing.
Okay, so maybe it's something you were reading about in the
100%.
papers and you were thinking about, and it was so cool and sciencey. So if you understand that principle as a spirit, maybe you can do that for us and touch it or make it go off or do something. As a matter of fact, if you could kick the cube across the graveyard, that would be the best thing you could do.
It does. It holds up against. Even standing over this, even being close to it in its proximity, is something that we believe here could indicate your presence and how you present yourself to us in this space.
He's saying that there were a lot of false headlines about him, like there was bad news about him, which is interesting. And he's like, again, it's such an interesting like feeling of like somebody who felt like they should have had everything, but life just kept working against them. I hope I'm hitting on something here.
I was going to say, do you?
It's really just the same person. I don't. And unfortunately, when I'm in a cemetery, names are really difficult because I've seen so many names now that I can't say without it for certain that I've gotten a name, you know? And to be completely honest with all the audience, that's just how I work. I don't want to say like, you know, that I know something. So like, for instance, that we're standing in front of cells, but I know of the comedian Peter Sellers. So the name Peter keeps popping in my head. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but it's a name that my brain is just, as a person making a connection to. So I don't really like the names in the cemetery too much. It's very difficult.
Do we have any photo document? Okay.
So, sir, I can hear that you're upset, and I would like to help you if we can put out some positive headlines about you. We have cameras that record video now. They're moving pictures with sound. That's what we're doing. So if you have something you want me to relay, I can do that for you and put you in a positive light if that's something that you really need to happen. Something I would like is just if you can do your best to set this box off. It lets our audience, the people who are going to watch this digital newspaper, so to speak, know that you're here.
And don't let that upset you if you can't set it off. That's not what we're here for.
No. So the more I stand here and the more quiet I get, there's more people obviously coming over, and I'm trying to stay focused. But I have a family that's coming from that part of the cemetery that I feel like they're all killed in a car wreck, and they're sort of coming over here, trying to figure out what we're doing. There's somebody who's talking about, I don't know if their art is hung up here in Ohio. They keep drawing all these like really colorful pictures and posting them up. And I'm supposed to say, you could see my artwork. I don't know if this has to do with this or somebody that's surrounding us.
Do you have a name for that person?
Still not. I can't honestly give you any names here.
Do you have a gender or a period?
Female. Her time period is a little tough. Maybe she lived for a pretty long time because I see her in a different kinds of clothes as she gets older. Probably born somewhere in the early 1900s and lived up until the late 1900s. And their static box is going off as I'm talking about her. So.
Is she connected to this family or something else?
I don't know. I don't know, but maybe that's a positive. You want to ask another question?
Can you describe what the artwork looks like?
It is. So for reference, that shouldn't be happening. So everybody knows. And Lauren will attest that it's her equipment.
Wait a minute.
So the artwork looks like old parchment. And it looks like pencil or ink drawn, some of it. But then some of it is really colorful on the other side. So it's like pencil and ink drawings, but also like this really vibrant stuff as well. And it would have, the really vibrant stuff seems like it would have been posted publicly for people to see, whereas the other stuff seems to be very personal and...
Okay, I know I'm really animated, and I'm so sorry to interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
But anybody that does like follow my equipment, follow me, and people who do have the seer will know why my face got that excited. And the continuous, when it was going over and over again, that meant that whatever it was, it needed to be grounded. That's me going up and touching it. So that meant that there was a like stagnant charge
or something holding on to it.
And normally I came up and I was like, well, hold on, because sometimes but this is fully charged, but you always want to double check if the battery's dying, then when I ground it, it should no longer go off, or it should keep going off when I ground it, because if the battery's going dead, it'll just go off. But I grounded it and now it's not going off anymore.
All right. So
I'm so excited. My stuff never goes off.
I also know could a bug have set that off, or is this like?
No, this is static electricity. So a bug does not, it's not big enough to hold that kind of static charge at all. Because that would be like if a bee landed on you and it like buzzed you, like somebody that was rubbing around on carpet. It has to have, and there's bugs crawling on it right now. There's an ant crawling on it. It's not set off by just electromagnetic radiation. It's not set off by infrared radiation. It's set off by friction and kinetic energy. So movement and actual friction. A bug isn't creating friction.
So whoever was...
I also have lots of videos where I'm testing this and showing people how it does work too. Like I'm very excited right now.
So whoever was touching... By the way, I'm getting kind of nauseous, which is weird too, because I felt fine this whole time. So whoever was touching this, thank you for doing that and setting it off. It helps us on a more scientific level make the assertion that there is somebody here with us, and it's not just me talking. There is certainly some science now to back up the fact that there is something causing a static electricity anomaly. So we appreciate you for doing that. If you'd like to do it again, nobody here is going to hurt you. We're not going to step in on you. If you'd like to continue in on that.
That may
have been from him backing up?
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay, so.
Yes.
Okay. So
see, that's what has to happen, and a bug isn't going to be able to rub their feet against dry grass.
Yeah. So for anybody that's here spiritually, especially this lady who stepped forward, I'm willing to listen to you. I was connect with the gentleman, but as the woman spirit came forward, she seems to be the one, I guess, that wants to talk right now. Listen, guys, this is live and I have no idea who we're connecting to. So as I'm asking for this stuff and the box is going off, that's a really big deal. So this is what I'm going to ask. Miss, can you set that off for yes? Thank you. So if the answer is no, if the answer is no, then don't touch it, okay? Yes, she understands. Hold on. Don't touch it yet, scientist. Give it a second. Are you associated?
Let me ground it.
Go ahead and touch it.
Control, I'm going to ground it. I want to turn it.
It's getting weird out here. It's a good thing it's not the middle of the night. All you people will be hiding under your covers right now. All right, we're gonna give it a second for the bell to clear.
It's so crazy because if it's continuously going off or if it is malfunctioning, it should.
That's gonna go off 12 times. That's the afternoon
Must be psychic.
lunch bell.
Let me.
So your box, now you're holding it.
Not going off.
Right?
So that's what I was about to say. Let me put it on something to create just a little bit more of a control.
You can put on.
Will electronics here? You want
Yeah,
paper?
yeah, that's good.
All right, folks, live, you never know. And this is, again, part of the reason why we love Lauren and having her on our team, because other paranormal investigators, I'm including myself, we'd be super excited about any of this happening, and we probably wouldn't go through the length of resetting it and changing it because we're afraid to ruin the results we're getting. Whereas Lauren is saying, let's ruin the results and start over again to make sure that we're getting a good reading. And that's important because, again, it shouldn't be going off at all. So we're gonna reset that for that woman who was talking to us.
And I never turned it off, so this was not a turn it off, turn it on scenario. And I just want to make that clear for my record.
So to the woman who was talking with us, the only thing that has changed is we've put the piece of equipment on a piece of paper now. It shouldn't change any way that you are able to connect with us. And I'm gonna start tuning in with you again. And as I'm doing that, if you would please try again to touch the box, that would be wonderful. Okay. So what I'm seeing is, again, all of these nice pieces of art hung up. It looks really nice. It's pretty celebrated. It feels local to here. She is an interesting character because the way that I envisioned her as she came up here was literally like coming up the hill with some authority, which was really interesting. Almost like she was upset that we were here and then saw we were here and was like, wait a minute, what are we doing? And then started to interact with us a little bit differently. And what I wanted to ask her was if she can maybe try to set off the box again with a yes, setting off the box and just leaving it for a no, is, are you associated with the cemetery at all? And what I can hear her saying is basically, she's like, I'm associated with several areas. People know who I am. I said, okay. If it wasn't you setting off this box, whoever else is here, that maybe I'm not picking you up and you were touching the box, can you try to do that again for us? You know what's weird? They said they don't see it.
I was thinking, and this isn't to, because we can find something else as well too, but the connection to like ground, paper isn't that good of an insulator, but
they just said they can't see it. I'm like, can you touch it again? And whoever was talking to me is like, we don't see what you're talking about now, which is so weird. Like, what would change?
Lauren, does it need to sit right there, or could it sit on the stones by the street?
I mean, I was going to put it, I don't want to disrespect like tombstones, because I was going to put it on the actual tombstone.
There's flagstone right here.
I can tell you that the energy is starting to dip. I don't know if anybody else is feeling it, but it's starting to come down into a lull.
Yeah.
So we might be losing it anyway.
Well, because there's also that big upset of me
Picking up,
changing grabbing it, and like.
So.
Which, sorry, it has to
you had,
happen, guys.
it's fine.
It
You had to
does have
change
to
it
happen.
and make sure that the equipment is properly operating.
I will still say whether or not the following ones were any sort of, the first one, the standalone one, that will live in my heart.
She, this woman, by the way, is saying I'll run into her again, and she's sort of like leaving it at that, and that's kind of it. And the gentleman who was talking to me, he's kind of taking a step back. When she came up here, he moved away. So I don't know if they're not aware of each other or if he didn't want to be near her. I don't know what the deal is there, but spirits, if you guys ever watch that TV show Ghost, the funny one on CBS or whatever, I think they sort of are like that sometimes. They are aware of each other and maybe they don't get along like we don't all get along all the time. And if I had eternity to spend with people, I'd probably try to keep my distance for long periods of time too, because people can get people-y. So, Lauren, do you have anything that you want to do here left?
No, I was running a live monitor EVP while you were doing that. But I didn't hear anything immediately. The nice thing is that I can hear the recording as it's happening, and it's an extra sensitive musician's mic, so
Excellent.
I can hear like the bugs buzzing. It's wild.
It is wild.
But I'm hoping maybe if I review a little bit,
we'll hear it. Okay, Miss K, why don't you come on over and tell us about the spot we're standing in. We'll wrap up our morning investigation, and then we'll move on to the next thing. By the way, everybody, if you've been watching since the beginning, I don't know how many people are even watching. Thank you so much for doing so. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit the share button, let everybody know what we're doing. We're going to conclude this with the history of the person we're standing with. And probably later on at the next location, there'll be more of this, more equipment coming out. And it'll be inside from what I understand. That's all I know. And it'll be a little bit more controlled environment so we can do some more experimenting and stuff like that. So let's walk over to Miss K and find out what's going on here.
So the reason we're here is this is a member of the Sells family before they became wealthy and pivotal in Columbus. This is a generation or two before. This gentleman, Cyrus, he died at the age of 30, although it says 28. Okay, maybe it was
No,
20.
I think that's 29.
29. Okay, so 29, 30.
Yep.
Mr. Sells was a guard at the Ohio Penitentiary. So
Okay.
he was in uniform, but he was not in the military.
Okay.
And in 1841, he was on a shift, and a gentleman who was an inmate there serving 7 of 15 years for highway robbery came up from behind him with an axe and split his head open and killed him.
Oh my God.
Mr. Cyrus. Cyrus was the only penitentiary officer killed in the line of duty at the Ohio Penitentiary ever.
Okay, so
So he is acknowledged by even the local modern police force as having fallen in the
Line of
place of
duty.
duty, in the line of
Line of
duty.
duty, yeah.
The only one. And that was in 1841. His killer, of course, was immediately known. He was an inmate. We don't know why he had an axe or why he went after Cyrus Sells. We don't know. All we know is his rank was guard, so it wasn't like he ran the place. The gentleman who did it was convicted and executed a few years later. And we're going to talk about this more tomorrow
okay.
because it's connected to a different storyline. But as I was following some of the trails that you were giving me from Phantom Forensics, it was so interesting to me how interconnected these things are. So for today, what you know is the reason that we are visiting Mr. Guard Sells, Cyrus Sells, is to pay our respects because he died in the line of duty in 1841, long before the time period that we really focused on in Phantom Forensics, but still in the same
So
general area.
I don't think I was talking to him at all.
I don't think so either. It was somebody else.
However, the guy talking to me said things like, what they wrote about me isn't true.
I was thinking that too.
And he was trying to fit in places he
It's
didn't
the murderer.
belong. Yeah, it could very
I
well
know,
be.
I was thinking that
it could
too.
and because first thing he shows me is butcher, and then he shows me removing limbs. And although that's not an axe splitting a head open, it is sort of in that same vein of
Cutting
like,
a vital
yeah,
part. Yeah, as you were saying that, I absolutely was thinking that's this guy.
and he could be trying from beyond the grave to defend himself.
Now, our understanding, because there is some documentation of the character of this gentleman who did the murder, was that he was a charmer, a little bit of a con man. So he might be trying to spin the story.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. If he was a highway robber, though, he probably did not come
Ooh.
from a wealthy family.
It's like 100 degrees out here, so everybody knows.
Yeah.
I will
He-
literally show you
He
my
did
sweater
not
for
come
this.
from a wealthy family, or he
Yeah, while
was
you're
raised
saying-
in the school of hard knocks.
Yeah.
And therefore, he may have been misunderstood as a youngster and realized that the only way to get ahead was
Do some
to.
crime.
Mm-hmm.
Crime. That was the thing to do back in the day. I probably would have been a criminal myself. I think that would have been fun. I don't know.
So-
I chose the other side this lifetime.
So, keep your antenna open.
I will.
Because we're going to revisit actually the murderer tomorrow.
Yeah, of course we are. Because the murder always comes back to the scene of the crime.
Right, but we did want to pay our respects to Guard Sells, who
Yeah.
just seemed to be in the wrong place
Sir?
at the wrong time.
Yeah.
A pretty
Well, it's almost good
nondescript.
that you didn't talk to him then.
Yeah, it means that he's probably not hanging
He's
out here.
There you go.
So, I mean, although he passed tragically, it seems like the person who they say is responsible, maybe. Look, I don't want to say this, but back in the day, framing somebody in jail probably was insanely easy.
I was gonna say.
So
way
if
easier.
they wanted to,
No, they're pretty sure he
yeah,
did it.
okay,
But
that's probably
not
what all
the
the
end of
public
the
records
story.
say.
But that's not the end of the story. And interestingly, Cyrus's father was Peter Sells, which is not the Peter Sells, who was one of the 4 brothers whose grave we just saw. It must have been a prominent family name, because the Peter Sells from the Sells Brothers Circus,
Yeah.
his children, none of them were named Cyrus.
Okay.
So he may have been a first
different
cousin,
A different Peter.
a different
But
Peter.
so for everybody who's been watching, I said it's hard for me to come live. I was saying that it's hard for me to come up with names in the cemetery. One, because unless you wheeled me in here blindfolded, I'm a human being. I'm reading names. I can't help it. It's just part of the way it goes. So when you ask me about names in the cemetery, it's difficult for me to go with no bias and say I don't know name. I can't give you a name because there's too much bias here. I can see all these names. So the other thing that happened was I'm familiar with this guy named Peter Sellers, who was a famous like TV personality a long time ago, and the name Peter kept coming up. But sometimes what Spirit will do is they'll give me information that flows really easily through my mind, like the name Peter Sellers, and they might try to hint to me that that's a part of what I should be talking about. So the name Peter is important. Peter Sells is related, but there's
his father.
Right. So there might have been some sort of connection there, but it's impossible for me to know because I have too much bias in the situation. So just so all of you know, that's how I approach this stuff. Like, I could be jumping up and down saying like, I got it, but really, I don't know. But it is interesting. It's a cool coincidence.
That is cool.
And we get to tell this gentleman's story, recognized as one of the police officers here in Ohio who's fallen on the line of duty. We pay our respects to him and of course, every law enforcement, EMT, firefighter, and everybody who's a first responder out there. I always say thank you. I understand what you do for our communities, and I do appreciate it. And so do all of us. So with that, I think we're going to wrap this up. If you've enjoyed this, please do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and also visit phantomforensics.com. Help support us by going to the store, buy some stickers, patch, pins, a blanket. There might be a couple left right now. Go pick those up. It's going to get cold, and we're going to have more Phantom Forensics for you, and probably some other cool projects coming your way. So 4 o'clock today, we're going to be live again.
Completely different
Completely
experience,
different live.
Completely different kind
I
of
got some cool
investigations.
stuff.
She's
And-
got cool stuff.
I'm so
Do you think
excited.
we might go to the North Market for lunch?
We could listen to
Let's cut out
No,
before
hold
we.
on. No, this is why. Do you think we might do that, or we think we're going to go someplace else?
Probably somewhere else.
Then we're not going to be live between now and 4 o'clock.
Okay, at 4 o'clock we will be live. We'll
see
see
you
you
at
all
4.
then. Thank you so much for joining us from the Signal Network. All of us here, we appreciate you, and thank you. All right.
Thank you.
If you want to hit end live, we'll call it a day. Take it out.
Excellent. So who gets this mic?
Little one.